Hey guys, I'm doing a Marvel Legends buyer's guide today, and we're going to be looking at all the Asian characters that Hasbro has released in the Marvel Legends line. So the reason why we're doing this is because we're coming up to a year on my channel where I first released a Shang Chi bio/review video, and we're also doing it because it's AAPI month. So we're specifically only looking at the comic book figures, but if you're interested in the MCU version of that, then let me know in the comments below. Normally in the buyer's guides, we look at the characters, what they come with, and how much they go for on eBay, and we're going to be doing that today as well. However, I'm also going to be going into the ethnic background of each character, because again, the point of it is the fact that they are Asian characters. So stick around and we're going to get right into it. So we're doing all these releases in order of character creation, and first up we have Sunfire. Sunfire's first appearance was in X-Men number 64, which was in 1970, and created by Roy Thomas and Don Heck. So Sunfire is of Japanese descent, and this is his first and kind of main appearance costume. And he only actually comes with these fire accessories that go right on his fists. This version of Sunfire is from a storyline called Age of Apocalypse, so it's kind of an alternate universe situation. And so that's not his regular appearance. And so if you're looking for these, then you'll find this one from the Warlock Wave for about 30 to 40 bucks. And this one you'll find for 15 to 20 on eBay. So Sunfire, I don't think we have seen in the movies yet. If I'm wrong, I will post a picture of what he looks like. Otherwise, he, even if he was in the movies, he probably would have been like a quick appearance, and we wouldn't have actually even fully known that it was Sunfire. Next up is Shang Chi, first appearance in special Marvel edition number 15 in 1973, created by Steve Englehart and Jim Starlin. And Shang Chi is of course of Chinese descent. So this appearance of Shang Chi isn't his first appearance, but it's very, very close. His first appearance just includes a gi that covers his chest and arms as well. Otherwise, he did look like this for quite some time, but this is not the modern version of Shang Chi. He looks actually rather different. This Shang-Chi comes with a couple of different nunchucks in different positions, and he also comes with a bunch of hands. The hands that he has on here are kind of like tiger claw hands. Then he's got these flat hands, fists, of course, gripping hands for the nunchucks, and then a couple of more of claw style of hands. So plenty of different hand positions for the master of Kung Fu. So this version of Shang-Chi you'll be able to find on eBay for about $35 to $45 complete. Shang-Chi has definitely shown up in the MCU, so not a whole lot there, but yeah. Next up, we have the Silver Samurai. First appearance in Daredevil number 111 in 1974, created by Steve Gerber and William Robert Brown. Silver Samurai is of Japanese descent, so he doesn't come with any additional accessories that you can see beyond here. The swords do come out, and his hands are there for gripping. You'll find him for about 15 to 20 bucks on eBay, not especially high in demand. We have had a version of Silver Samurai in the Wolverine movie. Next up is Karma. First appearance was in Marvel Team Up number 100 in 1980. She was created by Chris Claremont and Frank Miller and is of Vietnamese descent. She did start out as a sort of villain, but it was more of a misunderstanding than anything for this particular character. So for this figure, she actually didn't release as her own figure. She actually released as part of a pack with alternate heads, so that you could have one of 3 different characters. So these are the other 2 heads, a bow and arrow for one of the heads, a set of claws, and then a pair of gripping hands for the bow and arrow. You'll find her on eBay for about 25 to 35 bucks complete with all those accessories that I just showed you. If you're interested in knowing more, I did create a whole like bio review for her, and I can link that in a card right up here. So Karma we have not seen in the movies as of yet that I'm aware of. Obviously, if I can find a image of someone who's supposed to be Karma, then I will do that. Next up, we have Lady Deathstrike. First seen in Daredevil number 197, written in 1983 by Dennis O'Neil and William Johnson. Her ethnicity is Japanese. This one was released a few years ago at this point, and I was pretty excited to get her. She looks great. I think face-wise, that's a great face. A lot of detail, and it's painted silver, which is really cool. The hands look great too, overall. It's a well done figure. Unfortunately, doesn't come with any accessories, and you'll find this on eBay for about 15 bucks. We do have a version of Lady Deathstrike in the movies as played by Kelly, who definitely looks very, very different from this costume. And then we have Psylocke, first appearance in New Mutants Annual number 2 in 1986, written by Chris Claremont. Psylocke's body specifically is of Japanese descent. And I say it that way because Psylocke's history is definitely really weird and kind of convoluted. So I don't want to get too into it here. However, in terms of figures, there are two other ones that I don't have here right now. This one had two different versions. This one actually originally had black hair, and then there was another one where the body is more of purple, and then this purple hair head went with that one. I actually just switched them, and then that figure is with a friend of mine. This one is part of a Nimrod 3-pack, and so the costume is much more recent than this one is. This is kind of the classic Psylocke costume. This Psylocke comes with a couple of accessories. So we've got this bit that goes on her head to kind of show the psychic power that she's using it. We have her psychic knife that goes on her hand, and then we have a whole like psychic katana thing with a effect wrapping around the katana. Our Nimrod Psylocke has effectively the same accessories, but in slightly different colors. So you can see it's a bit of a deeper purple. And then there's the knife accessory, and finally the katana. And the Nimrod Psylocke actually also comes with this fist. I don't know why they just include the one fist, but there you go. And just so you can see, the heads are slightly different in terms of paint application, but the mold themselves are effectively the same. So both this one and its variant are both around $50 to $70 on eBay. The Nimrod one is 20 to 30 bucks on eBay, and then the 60th anniversary one is actually part of a 3-pack that you can still get at retail for $77.99. We have in fact seen Psylocke in the films. I believe she's in Age of Apocalypse, and the costume is pretty accurate to the original, so that was fun to see. Next up, we have Jubilee. This is kind of her classic costume that most people are familiar with. And the one on the left is the first release, and then the second one is the VHS release that has the cell shading on it. Jubilee was first seen in Uncanny X-Men number 244 in 1989, created by Chris Claremont and Mark Silvestri. She is adopted, but she is of Chinese descent. So the first Jubilee does come with this alternate head chewing gum, which is a super fun idea, and then also comes with the glasses to go on there. Our VHS Jubilee, though, actually comes with an alternate head with glasses attached up top, as well as additional glasses to go on that head, another set of glasses that are clear to go on that head, and finally some energy effects. So our first Jubilee you'll find for about 40 to 50 bucks on eBay, but the VHS one is actually a little more expensive at about $50 to $60. We do have at least, I think, 2 different versions of Jubilee. The first one, I think, was cut out of one of the X-Men films, and then we do see her again later on in one of the newer trilogy films. I forget which one exactly, but I'll have a picture up so that you can see. Next up, we have Omega Sentinels. So first seen in X-Men Unlimited number 27 in 2000, written by Chris Claremont, Joe Pruitt, and Brett Booth. This is the first figure that we have, at least, that is of Indian descent. So this character does have this alternate head, as well as these kind of cannon gun accessories. I'm not 100% sure if they're supposed to be anything more than that, but these switch out with the arms. I did read some criticisms online about the character because she is of Indian descent, but this head looks pretty much like a Caucasian person. Brown hair, kind of light skin, and I've read some frustration. So Omega Sentinel you'll find on eBay for about 20 bucks. I don't think we've seen Omega Sentinel even as a regular human looking character within the movieverse yet, but who knows, maybe in the next one we will. Next up, we have Nico Minoru, and she was first seen in Runaways number 1 in 2003, written by Brian K. Vaughan and Adrian Alfano. She is of Japanese descent, and yeah, so she is, I think, one of the few kind of teen characters on this list with Jubilee and Ms. Marvel. Nico has 2 accessories. She has this alternate arm because it has kind of this glowing effect, and then has this staff with this magic effect kind of going around it, which I think, yeah, it looks like it can separate. Nico can be found for about 20 to 30 bucks on eBay. There actually is a Runaways TV show, and I do believe Nico was in there as one of the characters, and she is one of the original Runaways. And technically the Runaway show, I believe, was supposed to be part of the MCU, but there was no real connection that we ever saw on screen that was of major significance. So This is Quake, aka Daisy Johnson, and I'm including her because I'm actually not 100% sure if she is in fact considered Asian or not. And I say that because within the comic books at least, they don't go super deep into her heritage other than we know that her father is Hyde, a villain, and we do see a picture of her mother, but it's very, very brief. And based on the one image, which I'll be showing on screen, she could be Asian. However, we do know that the mother does have inhuman DNA within her, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything in terms of ethnicity. However, because this character does exist in the MCU, as played by Chloe Bennett, who is in fact half Asian, I'm including the comic book version because they might take that detail and add that to her character later on. So with that in mind, Quake was first seen in Secret War #2, which came out in 2004, written by Brian Michael Bendis and Gabriel Del Auto. So this figure is kind of like the Karma one, where she's actually two different characters in one, because she does come with an alternate Maria Hill head. So you can have either Maria Hill or Quake. We also get a gun, and then some kind of reaching hands, and then gripping hands for that gun. And so for Quake, you can actually still get her at retail for $24.99, so don't pay eBay prices if you don't have to. Next up, we have Mr. Negative, first seen in Free Comic Book Day 2007 Spider-Man #1, written by Dan Slott and Phil Jimenez. This character is of Chinese descent and was originally released as a 2-pack with this generic kind of no-named body over there. Mr. Negative himself comes with a sword, Chinese sword, obviously, a effect that goes around the sword, and then a couple of additional effects that match that effect. The Goon does come with 2 alternate heads, which both look cool, and all 3 of them are different, so that's super neat. He also comes with a pair of fists. He currently has gripping hands. Those gripping hands would be for one of these weapons. We've got a bat, 2 different types of guns, and then a machete. And then here's a handful of effects for those guns. So Mr. Negative by himself goes for about 25 to 30 bucks loose on eBay. But if you can get the 2-pack you'll find for about 45 or possibly retail on GameStop. So if you're interested, I would say just get the 2-pack because it's not that much more. I don't believe we have seen Mr. Negative on screen yet, or even a character known as Martin Lee, which is the name that he uses. However, if I'm wrong, then I'll put it on screen now. So next up, we have Ms. Marvel, as seen in Captain Marvel #14 in 2013, created by Sana Amanat, Stephen Wacker, G. Willow Wilson, Adrian Alfana, and Jamie McKelvey. She is of Pakistani descent. And there you have it. So she doesn't have a ton of accessories. In the comics, her powers are to embiggen is what she uses as a word, but it's effectively kind of like a Mr. Fantastic type of power where she can stretch. So that's that one. This one is her first release. This one is actually technically not the comic book. This one is from the video game, so this is the Gamerverse version, but they're so close I figured it would be worth showing. And that one just has the same accessory. So that one has a pair of arms that look just like that. And additionally, I do want to show that there is this version of her, which is a Marvel Unlimited subscription exclusive version. The first version goes for about 10 to 15 on eBay. The second is the same for about 10 to 15 bucks. And this one is actually $35 to $40 on eBay. And of course, we have seen Ms. Marvel already. We've seen her in the Ms. Marvel TV show, and she will be in the upcoming Captain Marvel 2 movie titled The Marvels. And here we have Silk. So her first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man #1 in 2014, created by Dan Slott and Humberto Ramos. She is actually of Korean descent. So there are 3 different versions of Silk. Obviously, I have all 3 of them. I go more in depth in my buyer's guide for her, so definitely check that out, and I'll put the card right here. Otherwise, these go for 35 to 45 loose. This one is for about 60 bucks. And then this one as part of a 2-pack, this one by itself goes for about $50. All on eBay. So with Silk, I'm pretty sure that we have not seen her yet in even the animated movies or the live action. However, from what I remember, I think they are trying to develop a Silk TV series. Otherwise, there is a real possibility that we will see her in the upcoming Spider-Verse 2 movie. I did my best in terms of research of grabbing every Asian character that I was aware of and ones that I weren't aware of to make this buyer's guide. Obviously, if I missed anybody that has a release, then let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. I don't know if you noticed, but what's interesting to me is that a lot of these characters are actually mutants. I don't know if that's because a lot of these characters were created by Chris Claremont and he made a lot of mutants, or for a different reason, but that's an interesting thing. And otherwise, I'm going to link you to another character who is sort of a mutant, but not really. And I'm going to show you my Spider-Man buyer's guide right here.